The horizon bleeds a pale amethyst, a tincture of celestial promise, where the mother of the sun stands sentinel. Before the world awakens to its clamor and its weight, she distills the dew of grace upon the parched fields of the mind. It is a healing that does not shout. It seeps like silver into the cracks of a broken vessel, mending the spirit with the quietude of a dawn that refuses to be hurried. The first song is a breath of wood smoke and morning mist, a call to the weary to lay down the burden of the night and walk into the luminescence of a mercy that has no ending. Her fingers move in the silence of the temple, interlacing the threads of our anxieties into a tapestry of surrender. She takes the jagged wool of our failures and bathes it in the milk of her compassion, until the garment of our life becomes a soft protection against the winter of the world. Peace is not the absence of the loom, but the steady rhythm of her hands guiding the shuttle through the warp of our days. The second hymn is the rustle of linen and the scent of hyssop, a comfort that wraps around the shivering heart like a mother's shawl, woven from the fibers of 1,000 whispered prayers. Deep within the cavern of the grieving heart, she sits where the shadows are longest. She who knew the piercing of the blade knows the anatomy of a tear. She does not ask us to stop weeping. She catches the salt in her own palms and offers it as a sanctified crystal. In her presence, the sharp edge of loss is blunted by the velvet weight of her shared endurance, a comfort that breathes in sync with our gasping. The third song is a low cello note vibrating in the marrow, a healing that acknowledges the wound while pouring the oil of presence into the deepest ache. When the gale of the ego rages and the waves of uncertainty threaten the keel, her light flickers atop the highest mast of faith. It is a blue fire, cold to the touch, but burning with the heat of ancient constellations. She steers the shipwreck toward a shore of silence, where the salt of the sea is washed away by the fresh springs of an interior grotto, and the soul finds its equilibrium in the gravity of her love. This fourth melody is the crashing of the surf turning into the whisper of the tide, a peace that anchors the drifting ship in the harbor of the divine. A prayer is a rose that blooms in the dark, petals unfurling toward a moon we cannot see. She is the gardener of these invisible blossoms, tending to the roots of our unspoken desires. Every sigh is a seed, every ave a trellis, where the vine of the human spirit climbs toward the infinite. Here, the noise of the marketplace fades into the fragrance of woodbine and myrrh, a sanctuary where the self is finally forgotten. The fifth movement is the sound of falling petals on moss, a prayer that does not seek to change the world, but to change the one who kneels. She is the golden ark that carried the word, and in her stillness we find the medicine for our restlessness. Healing flows from the wood of her humility, a resin that seals the wounds of the proud. To touch the hem of her memory is to feel the fever of the world break, replaced by a cool clarity that sees the eternal in the mundane, the sacred in the suit, and the divine in the dust of our wandering. The sixth hymn is the resonance of a cathedral bell at noon, a peace that centers the soul amidst the chaotic spinning of the hours. When the sun retreats and the demons of the night whisper their ancient lies, she spreads a mantle over the sleeping earth. It is a canopy of stars and obsidian, a heavy comfort that tucks the shivering soul into the safety of the divine will. There is no monster so fierce that it does not tremble before the hush of her lullaby, a peace that guards the gates of our dreams with the vigilance of a mother's gaze. The seventh song is the creak of a cradle and the sigh of the wind in the cedars, a healing that restores the innocence of the spirit. Wayfarers thirsty for a drop of truth find the path to her hidden well. The water here is not stagnant. It is a living pulse, a rhythmic heartbeat of mercy that restores the parched throat of the cynic. Drink deep of the quietude she offers, for it is a potion brewed from the herbs of the Magnificat, turning the bitter bile of resentment into the sweet wine of a heart at rest. This safe canticle is the bubbling of spring over smooth stones, a peace that washes the grit of the road from the eyes of the traveler. She walks the path of the brambles with us, her feet bare and her spirit resolute. Where the world sees only the prick of the briar, she sees the budding of the crown. Her healing is the transformation of the sting into a lesson of patience, a hymn of endurance that teaches the soul to sing, even while the blood is drawn. For she knows that the scars of the faithful are the jewelry of the kingdom. The night song is the rustle of thorns turning into silk, a comfort that finds. The silver breath of the vaulted stone awakens before the first candle is struck, a suspiration of ancient dust and indwelling holiness that precedes the opening Nunu. Here, where the shadows of the cloisters meet, the rising incense of 1,000 years. The Ave Maria is not merely a sequence of syllables, but an architectural resonance, a living pillar of sound built upon the bedrock of a singular, feminine fiat. It begins as a low hum in the throat of the silence, a monophonic thread of gold weaving through the gray tapestry of the morning, tracing the contours of the angel's salutation with the precision of a master illuminator's brush. The Gregorian pulse does not hurry. It follows the slow, deliberate rhythm of the heart in contemplation, a melismatic ascent that climbs the Romanesque arches until it finds rest in the high, cold stillness of the nave. Gratia plena, the chant murmurs, and the air becomes heavy with the scent of lilies, crushed against the marble of history, a sweetness that is both a wound and a balm. voices are many, yet singular, a collective longing that seeks the face of the mother in the half-light of the sanctuary, where the echoes of part once still linger, like the ghost of a prior devotion. This is the second breath, the deepening of the plea, the soul moving further into the interior castle, where the Queen of Heaven sits enthroned, not in gold, but in the humility of the uncreated light. Every interval is a footstep on the pilgrim's path, every cadence a kneeling before the mystery of the Word made flesh within the hallowed vessel of her being. The melody rises in a gentle swell, a wave of liquid prayer that breaks against the shore of the divine, carrying the debris of our worldly sorrows to be washed clean in the tide of her intercession. Benedicta II in Muthiaribus, the stone itself seems to sing, vibrating with the frequency of a grace that was before the foundations of the world were laid. The Dorian mode holds the grief of the world in a vessel of perfect proportion, allowing the sorrow of the Pieta to exist, alongside the radiance of the Assumption without shattering. It is a sacred geometry of sound, where the distance between the sinner and the star is D by the single, unwavering line of the chant. There is no artifice here, no vanity of the performer, only the egoless surrender of the monk's breath to the timeless current of the hymn. The neumes are like birds caught in a steady updraft, circling the name of Mary with a geometric grace that defies the gravity of our fallen nature. We are transported to a place where time is measured not by the ticking of the clock, but by the slow burning of the sanctuary lamp and the rhythmic return of the Kyrie. Now, as the shadows lengthen and the second movement of this Marian devotion reaches its zenith, the supplication turns toward the hour of our departure. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei. The voice is entrained, and the tone darkens into a rich, oaken resonance, the sound of ancient forests, and the deep earth where the seeds of the resurrection lie dormant. The Gregorian line becomes a lament that is simultaneously a victory, a recognition of the frailty of the flesh held in the unwavering gaze of the Mother of Mercy. It is the sound of 1,000 vespers coalescing into a single moment of absolute presence, where the now and the hour of our death are fused into a singular point of light. The chant does not end so much as it recedes into the eternal silence from which it emerged, leaving a shimmering residue of peace upon the walls of the soul. In this sacred space, the title is no longer a label, but a physical reality, a tactile experience of the holy. The Ave Maria is the deepening of the well, the second pouring of the wine, the further exploration of the infinite landscape of grace. It is the echo of the first greeting finding its way home to the heart of the believer. A Gregorian across the abyss of the mundane, as the final amen dissolves into the twilight The air remains charged with the electricity of the divine, a lingering perfume of holiness that remains long after the monks have departed and the candles have guttered out. The stone remains, the silence remains, and within that silence, the hymn continues to sing itself in the hidden cloisters of the spirit. An unceasing, merry breath that sustains the world in its quiet, melodic embrace. The sanctuary holds the last amber of the dying day, where the long shadows of the Gothic arches stretch like fingers seeking a benediction across the empty pews. It is 7 o'clock, the hour of the vesper breath, when the world outside slows its frantic pulse, and the stone walls begin to hum with the quiet resonance of a gathering hunger. We come with no coin in our translucent palms, our pockets lined only with the lint of failed ambitions, and the heavy dust of a week spent bartering our souls for bread that does not satisfy. The air is thick with the scent of beeswax and the cooling stone, a sacred silence that prepares the way for the first sustained note of the harmonium. We are the weary, the evening comers, the ones who waited until the light was almost gone to seek the wellspring that does not fail. Why do you spend your strength upon the parched earth, tilling the salt flats of vanity, while the river of the covenant flows unheeded behind the veil? The invitation is a low melodic ache, an ancient resonance from the scrolls of the prophet, carried on the breath of a choir that sings not for glory, but for survival. Come to the water, not as a conqueror seeks a spring to claim, but as the cracked clay of the desert seeks the monsoon's first mercy. There is no price for the saturation. The vintage of the kingdom is poured for the penniless, and the milk of divine kindness flows for the one who has nothing left to trade. We stand in the dimming day, our voices weaving a tapestry of longing, a John Foley melody that rises like incense, soft-edged and earthen, catching the spirit of the St. Louis woods and the Jesuit heart, where the word is not a weapon, but a cool draught. Listen to the cadence of the drought breaking as the choir breathes together, a singular organism of faith, exhaling the promises of Isaiah into the darkening vault. Every syllable is a drop of rain hitting the sun-baked stones of our cynicism. You who are hollow-eyed from the pursuit of shadows, you who have built cisterns that can hold no water, come and lean your forehead against the cool rim of this mystery. The water is more than a metaphor, it is the liquid grace that smoothed the jagged edges of the world at the first dawn, now flowing through the small, flickering candles of a Sunday night. We sing to the God who bends the heavens to touch the parched tongue, the God who does not demand a ledger of our worthiness, but only the honesty of our thirst. The music shifts like a slow tide, dragging the silt of our anxieties out into the deep, leaving only the clean sand of a quieted mind. How beautiful is the paradox of the free gift, that the most precious element of the soul's geography is offered to the one who has spent everything and remained empty. We find ourselves reflected in the font, our faces blurred by the ripples of our own songs, recognizing that we are all brothers and sisters in this divine irrigation. The choir's harmony is the sound of many streams converging into a single peaceful delta, where the salt of our tears is lost in the sweetness of the living flow. It is 7 p.m. and the world is dark, but the interior of this temple is a garden being watered in secret, a hidden oasis where the prophet's voice becomes the cantor's prayer. As the final notes linger in the rafters, clinging to the mahogany and the stained glass like dew, we realize that the water has moved from the lyrics into our very marrow. We are no longer the dry bones of the valley, but a people saturated with the promise that the word will not return void, but will prosper in the purpose for which it was sent. The rain and the snow come down from heaven to seed the earth, and so this hymn has seeded the furrows of our fatigue. We leave the sanctuary as vessels filled to the brim, carrying the quiet roar of the river back into the streets, back into the coming week, knowing that the source is eternal and the invitation is forever echoing in the twilight. Come to the water, come to the feast, come and live. The amber light of 7 o'clock bleeds through the stained glass of the high clerestory, casting elongated shadows of indigo and violet across the worn oak pews, where the faithful gather in the hushed expectancy of the Lord's day's end. There is a specific stillness to the Sunday evening air, a scent of extinguished beeswax, and the faint lingering trace of morning incense, now cooled and settled into the very grain of the stone. The choir stands in the loft, a collective breath held in the transition between the secular world and the celestial chord. Their scores rustling like the wings of unseen birds before the first note cleaves the silence. This is the hour of the vesperal mystery, where the fatigue of the week meets the eternal promise of the woman clothed with the sun, beginning in the quietude of a Galilean room, where the history of the world turned upon a single word of consent. In the first movement of the Spirit, we recall the shadow of the Gabrielic wing, not as a thunderous arrival, but as a silver tremor in the stillness of Nazareth, a light that did not burn but invited the infinite to reside within the finite. The Annunciation is the architecture of the threshold, the moment the uncreated Word sought a dwelling of flesh, and the girl of Israel became the gate of the dawn. We sing of the dew falling upon the fleece of the secret garden enclosed, and the sealed fountain where the rivers of grace began their descent. The music here is slender and translucent, mirroring the fragility of a human fiat that carried the weight of the cosmos, a melody that climbs the ladder of the archangel's salutation, until it rests in the hollow of her womb. The new ark where the law of love is written in the pulse of a beating heart. Then the rhythm shifts, the humble whisper of the handmaid swelling into the revolutionary fire of the Magnificat, the song of a soul that has become a mirror for the greatness of the living God. It is the chant of the lowlands rising to meet the peaks, a structural upheaval of the world's heavy hierarchies, where the proud are scattered like chaff in a gale, and the hungry are feasted at the table of the king. Here the choir finds its strength, the voices layering in a polyphony of justice and mercy, proclaiming the strength of an arm that pulls down the mighty from their gilded thrones. It is a canticle of holy paradox, where the emptiness of the poor becomes the vessel of divine plenitude. And the ancient promise made to the patriarchs finds its ultimate fulfillment in the lineage of a woman's yes, echoing through the rafters of the sanctuary, like a storm of grace. As the sun dips further below the horizon, and the candles flicker with a desperate golden intensity, the liturgy ascends toward the mystery of the Assumption, the final coronation of the flesh. We contemplate the body that bore the light, now drawn upward by the magnetism of love, transcending the gravity of the grave and the corruption of the earth. The music becomes a ladder of light, a series of rising cadences that mimic the celestial flight of the Queen. As she passes through the choirs of angels, her blue mantle trailing stars across the firmament. There is no decay in this garden, only the scent of lilies and roses that bloomed in the wake of her departure, a floral sign of the resurrection that awaits all who walk the path of her Son. She is the first fruit of the redeemed, the icon of a humanity fully realized, standing at the right hand of the Majesty on high. The Sunday 7 p.m. choir pours these mysteries into the cooling air, their harmonies acting as a between the temporal toil of the congregation and the eternal rest of the saints. The hymns are not merely echoes of the past, but living conduits of a presence that remains a marrying tapestry, woven from the threads of dawn, revolution, and glory. As the final amen resonates within the hollows of the architecture, the music does not truly end, but sinks into the stones, a spiritual deposit for the week ahead. The choir descends, the lights are dimmed, and the silence returns, yet it is a different silence than before, a silence now pregnant with the Magnificat's hope and the Assumption's promise, a quietude that knows the mother of the Word is watching over the darkening world from her throne among the stars. Sing my tongue, the measured cadence of a mystery, born in the gloaming, where the golden wheat of the earth meets the fire of a celestial decree. This is the hour of the final drought, the gathering of the 12 beneath.